Hi everyone. I wanted to create today's video to inspire any of you that are watching now live or on the replay. And if you are feeling reluctant to show up, and when I talk about showing up, I mean like showing up within your business, showing up on social media, maybe showing up at in-person events, maybe going to networking events or conferences or co-working spaces, or maybe even like showing up like as in putting yourself forward to be a speaker on stage, or to be interviewed on podcasts as an expert in your field. So if you are an entrepreneurial businesswoman, a visionary just like me, I don't need to tell you how important it is for us to show up in our business, to show up as an expert and a leader in our field. But I also understand, and I experience this all of the time, that, sometimes we don't actually feel like it. We don't feel confident. Maybe something has happened. Maybe something has changed. Maybe you can't even put your finger on it. You just don't feel like showing up. And the first thing that I want to say is, if you do feel like that, then don't beat yourself up. It doesn't matter in the long scheme of things. I think very often that when people know or find out that I am a visibility coach, they often assume that I'm going to be like one of these coaches that's like, you've got to show up, you got to show up every day, even if you're not feeling like it. And I'm not. That is not the way that I approach visibility, and it's certainly not the way that I would encourage you to approach visibility, first of all. But second of all, I think it's really important to kind of understand the reasons why you're not showing up in the first place. So I sent out my weekly newsletter to my email list yesterday, and in that newsletter I was talking about a client that I've been working with for a number of years now on her visibility and her visibility blocks. And, we do a lot of work around her human design, and I help and support and consult within her business now. And now I've started to consult and help with her team as well around human design. And she has created, through sort of stepping up and being more visible and being more confidently expressed, she has created an incredible multi-seven-figure business. And she's now in a place now where she really needs to maintain that, right? So the major scaling, like the initial scaling has happened, but things go down, right, as easily as they go up. So now she is holding a space for that. She's holding a space for the abundance. And that in itself brings its own visibility blocks, because she's highly visible now. She speaks on big stages. She's a very sought after expert in her field. She hosts her own events as well as speaking at other people's events. She's very, very visual, and sometimes still she doesn't feel like showing up. And one of the things that she shared with me when we were having a conversation was, we were talking about what are the things that sometimes will hold us back from being visible and feeling confident as women. And one of the things that we were discussing quite deeply actually was our own opinion of ourselves, our looks, our bodies. As women, our looks change. Our weight can fluctuate on a daily basis. Seriously, on a daily basis, right? We're all getting older. Things change, like our hair color changes, and maybe our skin tone changes, and our body shape changes. If we're having children or if we're going through menopause, like all these things change. So actually it might be that you're kind of like going through life feeling a certain way, looking in the mirror, seeing that, the same person every day, and then very, very slowly, gradually over time, we're naturally changing, which is, again, only natural. And then one day we look in the mirror and we're like, oh my goodness, right? And we shouldn't feel like that, but very often we do. So I'd really love to know if you resonate with this. So we were talking specifically about weight fluctuation, about how, our looks can change. And it's really interesting as well, I think, how, what's the best way to describe this? Like, sometimes it might not be anything physical. It could just be the way that you feel. Like, so for example, the other day I was getting ready to go and spend the day at a place that I go to, like one of my clubs that I'll go to and I'll work from. And I just couldn't find anything to wear. I felt like I just didn't feel right. I didn't realize at the time I was just about to come onto my period. So that was probably one of the reasons. But I felt like, like, do you ever feel like you need a good scrub? I'd had a shower, I'd come out the shower, I'd put my makeup on, and I'd wash my hair, and I still felt like I needed a good scrub. And I was like, ugh. And I was literally like, I don't want to go anywhere today. I don't want to show up. I don't want to be visible. I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to put my pajamas on and I want to get into bed. And that's actually what I did. I got into bed and I worked, but I put my pajamas on and I honoured that. I had no meetings with anybody while I was there. I wasn't letting anyone down. I was completely in integrity, but I actually honoured my own feelings and my own thoughts. Now, that I was very lucky to do that because, as I've just said, I wasn't letting anyone down. I didn't have to break any promises or any prior agreements. And that's something that I do need to be careful of, actually, because I have an open heart. So if you have an open heart or an undefined heart in human design, you need to be careful about that because we can break promises all the time because our willpower fluctuates, right? Anyway, I digress. But what happens if it's not just a one-off? What happens if you're feeling like that consistently, day after day, week after week, month after month? What happens if you're not showing up? What happens if you're not going out in community? If you're not interacting with people? If you're not showing up on social media or your preferred method of visibility? If you're not putting yourself forward and speaking on stages and speaking on podcasts, doing all the things that creates a buzz and a hubbub around ourselves and our business, what happens when that's impacted? And that's the conversation that I had with my client, because she feels that the way that she feels about herself is impacted the way that she's showing up, and that is impacting her business. There is the energy is stagnant. So this stagnant energy is affecting her business. It's affecting the energy flow into her business, the opportunities, the conversations, the relationships, and therefore the money. Like, she sees a direct correlation between I'm not showing up, again, like in alignment with the money is slowing down coming in. And we run businesses, right? And cash is king, and we need to have this money flow that's coming into our business so that we can, pay our teams and invest in things and, go and buy nice shoes. So this is why being consistently visible is really important. And this is why I wanted to share this with you today. Because if you are feeling like that, if the way that you feel about yourself, the way that you feel about your looks, your image is affecting and impacting the way that you show up, it's important that you address that. It's important that we all address that so that we can move on and do our things. Okay, so there's like 4 things that I wanted to share with you really quickly. If you want more eyes on this, just reach out, get in touch. There's different ways that you can work with me. and there's different ways that I can support you, whether it's just you on your own or whether it's you, with your team. But the first thing that I would say, and of course I'm going to say this because I freaking love human design, is to really understand your human design. Because human design is this system that really helps you understand yourself on a deeper level. It helps you appreciate your natural gifts and your energy. And then when you understand those gifts, you can really start to work in alignment with your true nature. It might be that your body is resistant to showing up because it doesn't feel in alignment with your true nature, your destiny, and your purpose. Your body is wise. It knows these things. Human design teaches us to drop out of our heads and into our bodies. So your body could be really very clearly saying to you, nope, we need to stop. We need to reevaluate this. So listen to your body, and any kind of practice that you can do to support you to really understand and listen to your body instead of like numbing out and ignoring it, then do so. Like yoga, meditation. This is why I love Kundalini, because Kundalini really helps us to kind of like get deep into our body so that we can start to listen to what it's saying. Okay. So all of this ultimately will really help you overcome your visibility blocks. If you're feeling blocked because you're not confident in showing up because you're not listening to your body. The second point, I've already touched on it, but really practice compassionate self-forgiveness. I talk to a lot of women who are really worried about going out there and being highly visible because they're worried about being judged. Well, we can be our worst critics. We can really judge ourselves big time. So really practice this compassionate self-forgiveness. Accept ourselves. Accept yourselves, your quirks, your imperfections. This is really, really deep and meaningful work. When I work with my clients one-on-one, this is one of the things that we go through. I take them through a whole 30 days of compassionate self-forgiveness. And it's very often very triggering, but humbling work that really helps you to understand exactly where you are judging yourself, because as you are in judgment of yourself, of course you're going to be reluctant to show up, because every time you show up, you judge yourself. Every time you show up, you judge yourself. You just knock yourself down. I was speaking to a client yesterday, about the wounds that we carry in our very essence through our lineage and our blood, about really women's deep fear, sometimes very unconscious, but deep fear about showing up, because when we show up, we get burnt at the stake. That's what used to happen to us. That's what used to happen to confident, savvy, knowledgeable, clever, like aligned women. We'd get burnt at the stake. And she said, well, we can literally burn ourselves at the stake. Yeah, we light the match and we burn ourselves at the stake. So this compassionate self-forgiveness stops us from doing that, so that we can really get into alignment with our purpose and stop beating ourselves up for every single thing. If you've followed me for a while, you'll know that I'm a personal stylist. I love style. I love clothes. And I think, as we change and as we grow as women, as we get older, as our bodies change because of the different circumstances, situations, experiences that we have within our lives, it's a really, really great tool to have in your toolbox to learn to style your body. Because when our bodies change, if we know how to style them, if we know how to feel good as well as look good in clothes, which is another a part of visibility. Clothes are another part of, being confidently expressed. If we're able to style ourselves, then that's a magnificent gift and a magnificent tool. So that would be my third point, like really learn how to style your new body. What are the clothes that not only make me look good, but most importantly, make me feel good? And then number 4 is to really embrace that imperfection. I always talk about imperfection connects. I feel really aligned with that imperfect person over there, and I don't feel very aligned with that perfect person over there. I think that's why, when the Bridget Jones movies came out, I think that's why everybody loved it. And like, there were a lot of women that could resonate with her. Like, wearing big pants and falling over and saying the wrong things, and, all the little things that she, like the funny situations that she got into. Like, we're not perfect. So embrace it, and embrace the quirkiness, the edginess, really showing up as yourself in your authentic energy, instead of trying to be someone else, instead of trying to compare yourself to someone else. Your tribe will resonate with that. The people that will resonate with that are your tribe, and they'll want to kind of like be near you, be with you, learn from you, collaborate with you, be your friend, introduce you to new people. They're your network. The other ones that don't resonate with that, that's fine. They're not your tribe. And there's nothing wrong with that. They'll go and resonate with someone else. They're just not going to resonate with you, and that's fine. So you bring on the people that really embrace your imperfections, but you will only do that if you embrace your own imperfections. If there's any kind of like, judgment or bitterness or anything about yourself to yourself, they will pick up on that. There's nothing more alluring than a woman who is completely comfortable in her own skin. That is true visibility. It's not about where you show up, it's how you show up. So if you take these 4 things and start to play with them and practice with them and have fun with them, I think you will kind of start to see a bit of a different flow of energy, and maybe you can change your mindset and your thoughts and your feelings about yourself, which means that you'll show up in a different way. And, as I said at the top of this video, if you would like some extra support with that, there are different ways that you can do that. The best thing to do is to go over to my website, abigailrebecca.com, and there's loads of stuff on there. There's loads of free videos. You can go and look at my blog, and you can find out the different ways that you can work with me, either one-on-one, or I can come in and consult with you and your team. Okay, thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon. Lots of love.